Roll.
I'm Rich now.
Zach Long and Elizabeth Smith. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
The other way.
No, other way.
Zach Smith and Elizabeth Long.
It's okay.
So, what's the name of this? So, Richard Pendleton and I'm not. You can tell I'm not a professional broadcaster. Roll with it. So here I am. How do you pronounce this? The Shawangunks?
Yep, that's good.
Okay, that'll do.
Yeah, that'll do.
I'm struggling with
It's
names.
close. It's good. I can barely pronounce it.
I'm struggling with names. So Richard Pendleton and I rolled into Mohonk last night and stayed with Zach. And Zach is like an awesome hawk watcher and has roll with it, man.
All right, roll with it. Roll with it. Okay, roll with it.
Own it. And Zach has experience hawk watching at Veracruz, Messina in Sicily, Golden Gate Raptor Observatory, and why don't you tell us a little bit about this place here? So this is as I understand it, this is the northern edge of the formation that eventually leads into Hawk Mountain, right?
Right, exactly. It's the northern almost the northern terminus of the Appalachians. You look at it like a map, like a terrain map on Google, and you can see the ridgeline just sort of pinched down just to our east, and then you go sort of south and west, and it sort of picks up, and it just looks like this is kind of the start of it. So, I don't know, at least in theory, it's sort of where a lot of the birds may, pick up the ridgeline and start heading down.
So it took me 4 days, because I'm getting up to speed, I'm not as fit as some people, to get here, but the hawks that are coming out of New England, so we get about 10,000 birds a year at PAC, and there wasn't a whole lot of mountains between us and them, so they're basically crossing pretty much flat farmland.
Yeah,
and then this is the next ridgeline they're picking up, right?
Yeah, probably so. I mean, I'd imagine that a lot of the birds are going to be the same, from there to here. We could be getting, other birds, obviously probably are some from points further, inland coming down, hitting the ridge, and then sort of being deflected and turning south and following it. But I'd imagine, very similar, flyway.
But this is a little bit more dispersed because you've got several ridgelines. So this place here, I think, gets maybe a couple of thousand, 2,000 to 3,000 a year.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's not huge by any means, but it's official, and it's a good it's a good sort of outreach opportunity. That's what we're trying to do, really. Well, not we, but I'm part of it, volunteer. But my wife and the preserve is trying to increase exposure and increase the coverage, just to make it a little more serious and try to increase the outreach potential for the site. Just because hawk watching is great. And
so Zach, tell me about Elizabeth and her work. What's
just briefly, my wife is the conservation science director for the Mohonk Preserve here, so she's just started last fall. Has kind of inherited, all the conservation natural history projects here. And the hawk watch, she has a history of some raptor work.
There's a couple of broadwings going over now.
Hi, broadwings, going over.
Hey.
and just trying to put this place a little bit more maybe on the map in terms of some of the science and conservation projects that are going to be going on, and just kind of move it forward from what it was before. Yeah.
So you told me one thing last night. Folks have asked me, how far, Eric, can you keep up with the hawks? How far do hawks go in a day? And you have a perfect answer, because you told me last night of some work that you had done at Golden Gate Raptor Observatory banding broadwinged hawks. Can you just recap that again?
Yeah. So for any of you who don't know, the broadwinged hawks are primarily eastern species in North America, but there is a population that's a little bit further west, and there are a number of birds that pass through, a couple hundred a year, through the Golden Gate in San Francisco. And one year back in 1994, we were able to trap one of those birds. It was a young broadwing, put a radio transmitter on it, and the teams that were tracking the bird, they followed the bird. It went from San Francisco to the Mexican border. Now, anyone who's watching this who is from that era may know better, but I think it was about 2 days it took it to get from San Francisco to the Mexican border. So it just basically took off and went south. Wasn't a big surprise, but still, it was very striking.
How many miles is
documented? That's probably 700 miles, 600 miles maybe, I'd say, maybe straight line. Okay. Maybe a little bit less, something like that.
Okay. I'm working up to it, folks, but I can't do that yet.
Yeah.
So we're staying here tonight, and then Richard and I are leaving tomorrow, and we will be in Hawk Mountain on Tuesday, and today is Saturday. Does that sound right?
You got it.
Thank you.
Sounds great.
All
Good.
right.